Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jack. I'm the founder here at Scenarios. We're a marketing agency based in London that helps e-commerce brands set up effective campaigns on Facebook and Instagram. And today we're going to be talking about user-generated content. Some of you might already be familiar with the term. We're going to talk about what is user-generated content, why it's so important, and why you should be using it in your advertising campaigns on Facebook and Instagram as an e-commerce brand. We're also going to jump into a few examples of big direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands, how they're using user-generated content, and towards the end of the video, I'm going to start talking to you guys about how to actually gather user-generated content, which is something that is quite difficult to do for brands with smaller budgets. So I'm going to be giving you some really good hacks. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video. So I've prepared a very short presentation for you here. So we'll jump into that right away. So the importance of user-generated content and how to use it. As I mentioned, this is what we're going to be covering here today. What is user-generated content, the importance of using user-generated content, and why you should consider using it as an e-commerce brand that's looking to advertise specifically on Facebook and Instagram. Again, we're going to go over examples of brands using user-generated content and how you can start gathering user-generated content for your own brand as well. So we can start by defining what user-generated content is. It's usually a very loose definition and will vary slightly depending on what sort of advertising you're doing. But essentially what we mean by using user-generated content in your advertisements as an e-commerce brand is, instead of the traditional way of advertising where you as a brand would talk about the products from your own point of view, perhaps showcase some high-resolution product photos, kind of like the ads that you are accustomed to seeing in a magazine, for example. Instead, what you want to be doing when you're looking to advertise using user-generated content is creating content that is created by the users of the platform. And another way I like to think about it is user-generated content generally is content that's native to the platform. So in the case of Facebook and Instagram, for example, you want to start thinking about the type of content that you personally like to consume on your platform, perhaps the content that your friends are likely to consume. And what you'll notice is it usually revolves around either content directly from the friends that you follow, influencers that you follow, as well as content pages. And those are pretty much the three biggest places where you're going to be sourcing your content from and the type of content that you're going to be watching organically. In terms of content from your friends, that's usually going to be images or short videos of your friends, influencers. That could be quite a wide variety of content, whether it be a beauty influencer that you're following or a tech reviewer. So the type of content is going to depend on that, but we're accustomed to seeing that content quite often. And then content pages. So it could be memes that you follow, different entertainment pages, your favorite celebrities, whatever the case may be. And so when you're able to create content that resembles the content that I just mentioned here, usually it has those three components. It does not look like an advertisement on first glance, so it blends in well with the type of content you're accustomed to seeing on the platform. It isn't overly produced, so if you go to Facebook and Instagram right now, what you'll notice is most of the videos, most of the content that you're seeing is shot on an iPhone camera or a phone camera. It's not really high produced content, and so you want to be able to mimic that look in your own advertisement. Again, it isn't overly produced. It also feels natural and organic. And the big distinction here is you're speaking from the consumer's point of view when you're using this content in advertising. So instead of you as a brand saying, hey, look at our products, these are the features of the product, this is what problem our product solves, you have actual people vouching for your brand, talking from their own point of view, in the same way an influencer who's under a sponsorship would talk about the brand that they're sponsoring. So the importance of user-generated content and why you should use it. So this is very important to understand here. No one really likes to be being sold to, and that's something you always need to keep in mind when you're creating advertising. And typically speaking, if you notice on your own behavioral patterns when you're on Facebook and Instagram, when you see an ad and recognize it for an ad and you feel like you're being sold to right away, you're just much more likely to dismiss it right off the bat. People generally just don't like the feeling of being sold to. Think about whenever you're walking in a big city and you have those people that try to sell you right there on the street. It's quite annoying, and your first response is trying to get away. Again, with Facebook and Instagram specifically, people are not on there to look at ads. I mean, you're on there with the primary intention to catch up with your friends, see what they're up to, catch up with your favorite influencers, again, consume content, be entertained, look at memes, laugh a little bit. And that's the type of content you're there to see. And so when an advertisement tries to come in there and tries to sell you something right off the bat, it creates a negative response, and it can even hurt your business to create advertising that specifically looks like advertising if it leaves a bad taste in your consumer's mouth. So you're just going to get far better engagement when you're using this sort of content, and we've seen that time and time again. With our client campaigns, we consistently vouch for user-generated content, and what's great about this sort of content is it's pretty much applicable to every single sort of e-commerce brand that you can find, and I'm going to show you a variety of examples later on in the video. There are a few exceptions to that rule. For example, we do represent a few luxury brands where user-generated content just isn't the most applicable, but other than luxury brands, I would say user-generated content should be used by every single other e-commerce brand. So a few examples of brands using user-generated content. I've just pulled out a mix of a few brands that I like to look at when I'm trying to get inspiration in terms of advertising. So feel free to pause the video, write those down, and go check them out on your own time to look at what sort of advertising they're running. I'm going to give you a few examples of a few of them today and look at some of their advertising strategy and how they're incorporating user-generated content in their campaign. But one thing to mention with the examples that I gave here is it's quite a wide variety of the type of content. So a lot of them are beauty brands in terms of makeup, hair care, but you also have furniture brands using user-generated content. You have cookware brands, and you're getting more and more different types of brands who didn't consider using this type of content. They're using it now just because of how well it works. So if we jump into one of the examples that I gave right there, this brand's called Gather Beauty. You can go check out their Instagram. They're quite a big brand right there, and they make some serious investments in Facebook and Instagram ads. As you can see here, they're running 230 campaigns. And if we scroll down with Gather Beauty, you'll notice they almost exclusively use user-generated content. And you can see that right away just by the fact that most of the videos look like videos that beauty influencers might have posted organically on the feed. And that's exactly the point that they're trying to make. They're trying to create videos that are native to the platform. Most of their ads simply represent different women representing different demographics and target audiences, using their products and showcasing what sort of looks they're able to achieve. And they get a ton of engagement. I've actually seen some of their videos on their Facebook page. So they have this ad right here where it's a mother-daughter duo. So you can see that this is very wholesome in the fact that they're featuring a mother and a daughter doing their makeup together. And so they're getting a ton of engagement. People are commenting on there saying they love this sort of content. And Facebook will actually continually push this sort of content because Facebook also, this is a point I actually forgot to include in the presentation, is that Facebook as an advertising platform wants you as an advertiser to not just create ads, it wants you to create content that's going to keep people engaged and keep people on their platform. And so when you're using user-generated content that's engaging, like this video right here, Facebook's actually going to push you and give you lower cost per clicks. You're going to rank higher on the user's newsfeed, and overall you're going to get much better returns. So let's play this ad just to give you guys a very quick example here. So you can see how kind of wholesome this video right here is, and what you'll notice, which is very interesting here, is they use no marketing whatsoever. I mean, there's no mention of the actual products or the brand. They're not speaking to the consumer about how great the products are. They're literally just featuring the products in this video that they know people are going to engage with. And what you'll find is people in the comments are going to be asking, oh, I really love the lipstick, which one is it? And then the brand jumps in there and says, hey, it's Gather Beauty. You can find our lipstick on our website, and sends them the link. And you're going to get a lot more purchases that way because people are engaging with the content. They're not feeling that they're being sold to. They like the brand organically and naturally, and then when you pitch them the website link, they're much more likely to go and learn more about the brand. And feel free again to go into their ad library and check out some of their content. Again, for those who don't know how to actually see the advertisements of any brand, I'll just show you how to do that very quickly here. So if you go to their Facebook page right here, mine looks probably slightly different just because I have dark mode on. But if you just scroll down here and you go under page transparency, and you can do this for any Facebook page, by the way, you just need to click see all, and then you can go and click go to ad library right here. One pro tip to mention, if you do have an ad blocker, this won't show up for you. So just make sure that your ad blocker is paused on all sites, and then you can click to go to ad library, and you'll be able to visit their ad library right here and see what sort of ads they're running and so on and so forth. So we've seen this example. Let's jump into another one. I don't want to make this video too long. This is another brand called Pros. They're a hair care brand, and again, if we scroll down, you'll start to see the way they structure their campaigns is almost exclusively based on user-generated content. They use this common structure that you find pretty often when you're looking at content pages or influencers, where they have the header right here, and they do that consistently throughout their campaigns. Again, another brand that's quite different, just to show you a more variety of examples. This is a brand called Outer. They're actually a furniture brand. Now they have all types of content. It's not exclusively user-generated content, but if we scroll down here, I'll show you what their user-generated content looks like. So they have some user-generated content right here. My Outer sofa just arrived, and the content is kind of just showcasing the unboxing experience as well.
This is the best delivery ever. Our outdoor furniture is here from Outer. So excited. We got the L-shaped 5-piece sectional to go right there in that corner.
So one thing to mention that's also really easy to do when you're using user-generated content is you're able to educate the consumer on how to use the product. So they've actually taken them through the unboxing experience and how to set up the sofa, and they show them the after, how the sofa looks like once it's all said and done, and it just looks brilliant. And again, it's going to engage people a lot better and convert people into paying customers. The last example I have for you right here is a cookware brand called Caraway. Again, I'm not going into too much detail on every single example. Feel free to actually go ahead and check out their ad library and find out more about their ads. But you can see here they use a lot of user-generated content. Why millennials are cooking in style. Again, they're calling out their target audience. Very similar to the type of videos you'd see BuzzFeed making, or the ingredients videos the food pages would be making on Facebook and Instagram. So again, this content works brilliantly well. Back to our presentation here. Again, feel free to go ahead and check out some of those brands that I gave you right here. Check out their advertising. And I'm pretty sure the question you have in your head at the moment is, how do I actually go ahead and gather this user-generated content? I don't have that big of a budget. I'm a much smaller brand. How do I do this sort of thing? This video today is becoming a little bit too long for me to cover all of this today. So I'm actually going to be splitting it into two parts. In the next week's video, I'm going to be talking about how do you actually gather user-generated content without having a big budget to go after influencers that's going to create the content for you, without actually having to spend so much time gathering it, in terms of creating automated process where you're getting user-generated coming in, as well as making sure that the content you're getting is high-quality content that's also under your control and direction, so that you're able to have some sort of creative direction in terms of what actually comes out of the user-generated content. So if you are interested in learning how to get that user-generated content, be sure to subscribe, because that's going to be next week's video for you guys. There you have it, guys. Today we talked about the importance of user-generated content, why you should be using it, and we went over a few examples of different brands that use user-generated content quite extensively through their Facebook and Instagram advertising campaign. We didn't have time to cover how to actually gather user-generated content, so we'll leave that till next video. Again, be sure to subscribe for that. If you did enjoy this video and find it valuable, be sure to give us a like and give us a comment on your feedback, what you'd like to see more of, and we are looking forward to seeing you guys in next week's video.